Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sing. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So I came across this woman's video who said she voted for who she voted for. Why? She gave her reasons, and now she is asking, now that she has confessed, it took her time to confess. Would you still trust her? Would she still no? Will she still be a safe space for you? No. Madam, you are not a safe space for anybody. And knowing fully well that your child is a non-binary and you as a mother voted against your child's own interest. And now let me tell you people the truth. The reality is that some of these people did not vote for this man because they wanted to vote for him. They actually voted for him because they thought it was really going to be bad for my own people. Because looking at her, you absolutely will know what I am talking about. Some of you all voted to distract people that look like me because you all thought it was going to start with them. Now it is hitting you real hard. Because tell me how, as a mother, you woke up, you voted against your own interest, against your child's own interest, right? And now I think what is more important to her was her career and her business. I don't know why that was really, or that it's very more important to her. But I am going to tell you this. Nobody think you are a cool person, and nobody think you are a safe space, because nobody will want to be around you. And I do not even want to know the kind of career you have, because I wouldn't want to deal with somebody that looked fully into some certain things and still went ahead to do what they did. Now, I always say this. Some people really do not have your interests at heart. Let's get into this video.
Okay, so I have a confession that I don't want to make. My ego does not want me to share this with the world. And I realized that after having a conversation with two really incredible humans in my life today, that I have been really suppressing and shoving down something for the last 4 months, that is really impacting the way that I'm showing up in my business. And I know a lot of you follow me because you love the way that I have helped you regulate. You love the way that I have taught you about trauma. You have really enjoyed learning from me. And my genuine hope is that after I say this, that you still like me. I hope you still like me. I hope you still think well of me the way you did. So I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I voted for Trump. And yes, I am a multiracial, owner of a trauma institute, mom of a non-binary kiddo, and somebody who works in like the social justice, social work spaces, helping people with trauma recovery and nervous system regulation. And so some of you, your flabbers are gasted right now, right? Some of you have already went ahead and scrolled. Some of you are starting to write comments about how upset you are. And that's cool. Here's the thing. This is actually not about how I voted. I have been suppressing and repressing my authentic self-expression, not around who I voted for or what my politics are, because I actually do not think that who you vote for is the way in which I should classify you, or that anybody should classify you. I do not think that that is the most interesting thing about you. I do not think that that is the most important thing about you. And I have really learned not to make assumptions about people based on who they voted for after experiencing what I've experienced. 4 years ago, I remember going on Facebook and talking about how I was really struggling to choose who I was going to vote for. And I got absolutely ripped apart. Absolutely just got my hindquarters handed to me by people who told me who wanted to remind me that I was Black and I was a woman and I was a nurse and I was somebody in these social wellness spaces. And so how could I even think about voting any other way than one way? I got called an Uncle Tom. I got called names that I cannot repeat on here. I was just dragged for sharing that I was struggling to choose between what felt like a rock and a hard place. And this election felt very similar to me. And the thing that made it not feel similar, the thing that kind of really pushed me over into one camp, was actually the very values and the very things that we teach at our trauma institute. I was listening to people tell me who were saying that they were tolerant and kind and compassionate and cared about humanity and really cared about the wellness of all people. I was listening to them say things and call people names and do things for the sake of justice and the sake of tolerance that were so out of alignment with those values that I just couldn't not see it anymore. And after the election, I had a conversation with a very dear human in my life. And one of the things I said to them is, at our institute, we teach about 3 core needs. We teach about the need for physical safety. I am supporting them. They are leaning on me to become more regulated. They are coming to me to help them recover from what feels like a very traumatic experience. And I am helping them, and they are grateful for it. They are actively able to self-express. They are able to tell me, they are able to talk about in the world, in public, how scared they are and how worried they are and how angry they are and how dysregulated they are. And I am sitting here knowing that if I choose to even share where I'm coming from, I'm going to get canceled. I'm going to lose business. I'm going to lose psychological safety with humans who trusted me and who cared about me as a person until they find out this thing. And it reminded me of so many experiences I had when I was in high school and in college, and I would end up in these areas where people were racist. People were like actively, capital R, racist. And they wouldn't realize that I was part Black. And they would say things, and I would recognize, like, oh, I'm not safe here. I can't let people know that this is the identity that I hold, because if I do, I'm going to get torn to bits. And that was exactly what this felt like. And so for the last 4 months, I have been kind of just out here preaching regulation and helping people be more, get to a place where they can have a broader perspective, and they can come out of this like absolute terror state and really recognize that most of us, practically 100% of us, really just want everyone to be able to be physically safe and to feel like they belong and to feel like they're loved and to feel like they have some sort of choice and agency in their lives. And that's really it. That's what 99.999% of us want. So I've been working to do that. And the entire time I've been doing this, there's been this part of me that's like, yeah, but if they just knew, if they knew, Lee, if they knew that this is what you did, if they knew that this is, and it doesn't even matter why. It doesn't matter your justifications. It doesn't matter, the fact that you studied this for dozens of hours and hours and hours and just like really felt into this and like tried to make the best choice you could. It doesn't matter. The moment they find this out, you're done. You're cooked. And what I realized is I don't want to run a business like this, because the very thing I teach people to do is to be regulated and to be able to create spaces for others to come in and feel safe and feel like they belong and feel like they care. And I am doing this, and I am considering everybody else, and I am leaving myself out. So I'm done doing that. If the way in which somebody votes determines if you can love them or like them or be in connection with them or not, okay, that's your choice. If you learning this about me means that you no longer want to be connected to me, or you want to bash my business, or you want to do whatever, that is your choice. And I really invite you to consider what has changed. Because for the last 4 months, we've been connected. For the last however long, we've been connected. And you liked me. And we got along. And you thought we held some of the same values, and I think we still do. And we cared about a lot of the same things. And so is it possible? Is it possible that maybe whatever we identify with politically is not the most important identity that we hold? Is it possible that diversity of thought is the priority that we get to focus on moving forward as American citizens and as a world, and that is the one thing that will save us all? Identify with politically is not the most important identity that we hold. Is it possible that diversity of thought is the priority that we get to focus on moving forward as American citizens and as a world. And that is the one thing that will save us all. Is it possible that being able to tolerate someone else believing something that scares us and being able to get into conversation with them, that might be the very answer to things actually going in a direction that we want them to go? So again, you're free to do whatever you do. Unfollow me, follow me, share, don't share. And this isn't a place for you to inject your lack of psychological safety or to try to make me feel bad about what I did or how I see the world anymore, because I'm not willing to hurt myself that way anymore. And I'm no longer willing to be scared of other people hurting me that way either. So if you want to be in a space where diversity of thought is really welcomed and prioritized, and you want to be in a space where your identities are not what we are going to judge you over, then hi, I'm Dr. Lee. Welcome to our institute. I hope you stay. I have a confession that I don't want to make. I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I voted for Trump. And yes, I am a multiracial, owner of a trauma institute, mom of a non-binary kiddo, and somebody who works in like the social justice, social work spaces, helping people with trauma.
The fact that you voted against your own child tells me quite a bit. Your own child. So I'm not even going to address that because, okay. I wanted to talk to people who think like her. She said that she felt like she was voting between a rock and a hard place. I don't understand how you could see those things as a rock and a hard place, but she said that the thing that pushed her to vote for Trump was because the side that is considering themselves to be, understanding and accepting or saying, like horrible things. And I kind of want to address that in particular. And I think the frustration, and even still with the liberals, as people would say, being more accepting, a lot of us are still very strong-willed, right? And I think for us, it's kind of like how it gets to a level of frustration where it's like we're literally screaming inside of our heads all the time, nonstop. And it's like the chaos that's already ensuing, that's about to happening, and the stuff that's about to happen. And we're just like, how do you not see it? And I think that's what's so frustrating. It's like, how could you not see it? It's like Trump supporters now that have been fired, and they're like, they don't care about my merit. We said that. So I think it's like that thing. It's like, we knew that. We literally knew that. We literally said that. So I think that's where some people's frustration come in. Now, I definitely don't agree with, telling people you don't know to go on unalive. I don't agree with you telling anyone to go unalive themselves, but definitely talking to strangers, like, it's like, okay, you know what? All I can do is put my hands up. Okay, don't worry. We'll all learn this lesson together. But I think that's where it's so frustrating watching these people now that voted for Trump. We see people, I've seen videos of Hispanic Trump supporters. I mean, like a Mexican Trump supporter with the thickest accent saying that he got stopped by ICE and put in cuffs, and it wasn't until they saw his identification that they believed him. He's like, oh, I thought they were going to be looking for the bad ones. How would they know? How would they know? Do you think these people, and the fact that y'all think a country like this, that has been stereotypical, that has been racist, the same administration that said the only thing Mexico sends over here is criminals and drugs, you think that administration genuinely cares about Mexican Americans, about any immigrant from any background, whether your status is legal or not. And then now we have people who are advocating against Kamala, saying, do not vote for Kamala, come on the line, because that young man was arrested and now being detained, God knows where. She came online and said, and called us bootlickers. Well, let's see if you bootlickers have any sense of morality. Y'all are why we're in this fucked up position now. Y'all, the fact that you put us here and then come and say, how about like you bootlickers, let's see if y'all have any morals. I can't remember the young man's name, and I don't want to butcher his name, but the young man that was arrested for protesting. You want to know who would have not locked him up for protesting? Kamala. You want to know who would not be dismantling the Department of Education? Kamala. You want to know who would not been firing veterans for no fucking reasons? Kamala. You want to know who would not be laying off 80,000 federal employees? Kamala. You know who would not be instigating a turf war with our allies? Kamala. But because some Democrats said some mean things to you, you voted against your own children's rights. And because you hate black women, you've voted against your own rights. Farmers coming online saying how they're going to lose their farms, voted against their rights because they wanted a white man back in power. Women voting against their own rights. So I think it's like, for those of us who are able to read the room, honestly, sometimes like I try to like stay away from this topic, but you know what? Another he does like the eggs and something podcast. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I have the worst memory. I apologize. Or is it grits and something? I don't know. If I find it, I'll like link it or whatever. But he said something that like kind of like made it click for me today. And he's like, you cannot argue with these people. You cannot argue with these. There's no logic. There is no logic. And it's like those who see the ways of their, like those who are being affected by their vote now would still vote for him. Because they would rather be fucked over in the ways that they are being fucked over than allow certain demographics to live fairly. Because not supersede them, not pass them, live fairly. And that is so aggravating. It's like some days, like lately, I haven't even been posting as much because it's like, as much as, you know, we say like black women are going to rise, it's like, I have children in this world and I can't not care. I cannot not care. I can't stop thinking about it because I think about my children's future. I think about what life they're going to live. I think about like the fact that their generation will have to be fixing what our generation is doing. Like I think about that all the time. And it's like, how did people not see this? Like, how did you know that this man hates trans people, like non-binary, like that whole ideology? He hates it. His base hates it. They advocate for Christian nationalism. And you have a non-binary child, and you, like, as a mom, I want to scream. Like, you're so overwhelmed with emotion, you're almost like void of emotion. It's like I feel like I'm a zombie some days. Like, just I can't.
I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I voted for Trump.
If you voted for him, you were not a safe space. Now, let me sum up your video really quick because you went on a 9-minute justification tour trying to convince people to still like you after you telling the world that you voted for Trump.
After I say this, that you still like me. I hope you still like me.
I'm going to dive into it and tell you exactly why that's wrong. You voted for a man who was not only convicted of essaying a woman, but who also brags about essaying women. And me, as a survivor of SA, I would never feel comfortable going to a trauma center and working with trauma specialists as yourself, knowing that you supported a man who does that. You voted for a man who has decades of recorded racism in his past. You, being a multiracial woman of color, What does that make you feel like? You voted for a man who's doing everything he can to make it so women don't have choices over their own bodies. And the one that you should be really concerned about is that you voted for a man who's trying to erase an entire community of people, a community that makes up less than 1% of the entire population, because you said,
owner of a trauma institute, mom of a non-binary kiddo.
Not even for your own child. I wonder when your child grows up to be an adult, if they realize that you voted against their own interest. And after all that, the comment section is never wrong, because nobody has to continue liking someone for voting.
This is all I got from this video, and sincerely speaking, I am not trusting anybody anymore, and she is not a safe space. Sorry, but I am not sorry. This is just the way it is. And she coming up here to justify and ask, would you forgive me? And asking, I did not want you to judge me and all that. Nobody's actually judging you, but all the things you said, you deserve to be judged. Nobody should, I am saying, but you deserve to be judged. Like, how are you? How are you a mother and your child is non-binary and you still voted against your own interest, against other people's own interest, and then your own child's interest? You are asking, can we get over it and now move on to what exactly? Because at this point in time, we are Black people, or every other person, are still battling the same thing. Now, sometimes when I saw her video, I knew who she voted for at first. I didn't see her video first. I saw a stitch, but I saw her as woman right at first before, and I clicked in, then saw her, like, and I was like, do I expect you? I did not expect anything better or something, but yeah, she's still disappointed. Because tell me how, really, people do, I didn't know, but some people's reasoning is just a little bit weird, right? See, I have been on this space for how many years? And there are some things I know better. Why? Because I align myself with my own people. Probably that is why I know better. And I was talking with one of my friends the other time, people that do not know anything about politics, but they are very quick to tell you, hey, sure. I asked him, how are you seeing politics? Are you seeing politics from the eyes of these people, or you are seeing politics from the eyes of people that look like me? He couldn't even speak. He couldn't even say anything. Why? Because they do not know what to say at this point in time. So how are you going to see politics from other people's perspective, right? And you think you are going to vote right? Some people really do not understand that the people you associate got better influence on you. That thing is actually true. Because don't tell me it's just like the way some of you put your kids in a predominantly white space school and all that, and expect the child to come out and behave like someone that look like me. Sometimes they are weird and a little bit off. And I have also seen people that grew up in that space that also came out to confess, which I have also brought here. Some of you do not want to align yourself or do not want to see yourselves in Black spaces, right? Or associate yourselves with people that look like me or learn from them. Because to you people, you all are better, right? So for that reason, I do not have to learn from them. When there are the people that know you back and front and know American politics better, you all, unfortunately, majority of these people do not know politics or do not know history well enough. And the ones they have learned so far were the ones they learned from Black content creators. One thing I've been saying this is not my first time of saying it. Black people are rooted in their history. If there is something that I love about you people are well rooted in your history. And you all try as much as you can to reference that same history when some certain things are happening. Because If you are able to remember your history, trust me, there are some mistakes you would not do. So I love this food. I love it. I love this about you people. And I also love the way you make noise. They call it noise, but the way you speak the truth, the way you defend your history, the way you talk about your history, the way you talk about your culture, the way you are very vocal about it. I love that kind of noise. That is the kind of noise I love. Continue making it, because this is what has been saving you. Right? So, am I sorry? I am not sorry. I feel bad. Why? Because so many people are going through it right now because of you people's poor choices. And there is something that I have also learned about people like this. If you also give them chance, or if another this thing, they will still vote against their own interest and still come back to apologize. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like modus operandi, a pattern that they already have. Check all these years. Why do I know this? Because I've been studying it too. You all told me, check this out. I tried. And since I've been in this space, it is true. They will come back today and tell you they are sorry and get ready in 1 week to do the same thing they told you they are sorry that they would not do. And then come back again to tell you, I don't know what came over me. I came over you. So, man, you are not a safe space. This is just how I'm going to end this. As even as who is a therapist or someone, see, some people are just more important about their business than they feel that their business is more important than human beings, right? Because firstly, she put her business, her career, and all that first before human beings. And now she thought that, coming out to speak will make her lose her business and all that and all that. Madam, please carry your problem and move far away from me, because at this point in time, my people are looking for a way to navigate through what is going on. If you like, vote against your own interest. Vote against your child's own interest. I am sure one day that child will ask you questions because you do not love that child. Bye for now.